What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we're going to look at why Dwarves is a better strategy than HatBallFork. Well, in some cases anyways. In this first shop I'm going to pick up a Pollywoggle and lock a Forbidden Fruit, so that way next turn we can purchase 2 units. And as you guys know, I really love playing HatBallFork on Wonderwaddle. I do think that it's generally one of the best strategies in the game, and Wonderwaddle just does it so easily by being able to rip through a bunch of tier 3 treasures. So it's always kind of the plan while I'm playing Wonderwaddle, but you can only plan for so much in Storybook Brawl. This shop will grab the Forbidden Fruit as well as an animal and a Minotaur. Pretty straightforward stuff, and then we'll defeat this Mad Catter. I guess I can go back and show that game just a little bit more. They actually did not have any pumped up units by Mad Catter, so even if something was pumped up, maybe the goat would have just been able to take them out, but they were definitely lacking a little bit on that one. And we'll take a Wizard's Familiar and a Golden Chicken. We are also up a unit, so that is pretty nice. And then I'm going to 4th position this Pollywoggle so that it doesn't slay, because I don't want Pollywoggle to slay on 2.2. I'd rather it slay on 3.0 or 4.0 or 5.0. Just to get us a little bit more power. This combat is going to work out really awkwardly for us, though. I think we're pretty likely to win that one, but the ordering and just the way that the combat came out, 92% to win that one, and we found the 8% where we take 5 damage, actually, right? Or no, just 4, because we were level 2, sorry. Kind of getting distracted in my own head. I generally don't love questing units on Wonderwaddle, but a 3.0 Brave I'm not going to shoot down. We can toss our Minotaur and then pick up a Stag, and that is going to be a great animal for us. It'll pump up the Brave, pump up the Pollywoggle, pump up the Jams just all around, and I think we take a slight decrease in power for this turn because we just sold like our only competent unit, playing a bunch of 1/1s at this point, but the goal here is to be able to really churn through a bunch of tier 3 treasures, both from Wonderwaddle and Brave Princess, upgrade this Wizard's Familiar, and see what kind of trouble we can get into. And it does look like Brave will be slaying here and sticking around, so that's really nice. And even Brave is going to get a 2nd slay against the Baby Root, so I'm pretty happy with that combat. Cannot be too upset with Brave Princess getting a double slay. Now we'll get to pick up this Wizard's Familiar, grab a tier 2 treasure, though for the most part, like I talked about in my video yesterday, I'm just skipping on those tier 2 treasures because we want to find the tier 3s. That's where the real good stuff is. I'll combine this Golden Chicken, and I do certainly have to think about these ones because Runestones can be good if we're combining any of our other tier 3 units. However, it's awkward with the fact that we've got this Brave Princess right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip and then roll for, more tier 3 units. Prized Pig, definitely chief among them. Pollywoggle, Wizard's Familiar, and then Stag and Donkey also. Then I think I'm going to sell this goat just to grab the spinning gold. It gives +3/+3 to our units, +2/2, and +1/1 to the different Wizards Familiars. So I think it's probably worth it, even if I'm not really expecting to win this combat. But the main thing is I really just want to activate the Brave Princess here, which does seem pretty likely. And then I also want to... No, I guess that's it. I really just care about activating the Brave Princess. I think that is a huge deal for us right now. We're going to grab a tier 3 treasure. Maybe that's what I was going to say. To grab a tier 3 treasure and then also just like pump our team. Fortunately, I don't find the hat or the ball here, so things are going to not be great for us, but I think I can probably take this Fancy Pants. It's tough. I either take the Fancy Pants or I just skip on this treasure. I do think that Fancy Pants is powerful enough with the +3/+3, there's enough ways to make it work that I probably want it. And it's decently powerful on Trojan Donkey, so I'll pick that up. And then I see a prized pig, which this one's awkward because I am just short on gold for it. So I'm going to sell my Polywoggle on 3.2. Don't really care that much about a Polywoggle. And I'll pick up a prized pig from there. Now we've got another interesting decision to make because I really do want to try to find HatBall. However, HatBall is going to be tougher to find if I pick up this treasure map, so what can I do? And I'm going to decide to go for Haunted Helm and use that to support the donkey, so now we can create some additional summons from that. So that's kind of the idea. Donkey will spawn a unit into whichever open spot we have, so I'm trying to think, do I want the unit that we spawn to get pumped up by the stag? And there's kind of some interesting little quirky things that could happen here. I think I'm just going to play it like this one and have that unit kind of spawn in the second stag position, which may or may not be relevant. But then my opponent attacks and kills one of my other things, and they kill the stag. So really awkward. But one of the reasons I was playing for frontline units too is to make sure that the stag would get to attack. And unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. But we do have this donkey, which can certainly still wreak some havoc against this opponent, and looks like it is going to be enough to get the win. We hit my opponent with a board full of units, all of them coming from the donkey, which got that +10 from the Haunted Helm. So pretty sweet stuff there regardless. Pick up Blind Mouse on this turn. Don't love that we gave it the Fancy Pants. Might have rather purchased the Dragon first, so that way the Dragon got the Fancy Pants, but a cheap tier 4 treasure could still be really sweet on Wonder Waddle. Still chasing down the HatBallFork dreams. We've got the stag, we've got the donkey, I'm rolling for him, and we're going to complete the Blind Mouse. That's great. That was like the quickest you could ever click on Forking Rod, because that's exactly what I was looking for. And now I am thinking about moving around my units a little bit more. Donkey in the first position isn't super great, so I switch that to Wizard's Familiar in the first position, and then Donkey behind the stag. And next turn, I'm really just going to keep rolling for both Donkey and stag. Try to triple both of those two things. Try to grab some HatBallFork and see what we can do with that. Because, like I said, I think that that is one of the best strategies in the game. And I'm always going to want to play it whenever I can, except when I don't. Just to remind you what this video is actually about. I'll pick up a Polywoggle. That'll grab +3 from the Fancy Pants. And then I pick up the stag and we find the hat. So we haven't found the ball yet, and the ball is the most important piece, and that is definitely important to realize. This is kind of tough to turn down, though. I would have loved to stay on tier 3 and just roll for donkeys. However, it's really tough to turn down a forking rodded Turkish Delight, because that's going to buy us 2 XP for just 2 gold, which is just such an incredible rate that it's hard to say no. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to pick up this Turkish Delight, and then I'll pick up this Grim Soul to activate the Polywoggle. And this is what I was talking about before, because this is a Polywoggle right on now 5.0, now because we just gained 2 XP. So we're basically looking at the opportunity to grab a tier 6 minion while the rest of the lobby is about to be on 4.2. That's pretty powerful and definitely opens up some strong opportunities. I think I didn't quite realize that I had an extra gold here to be able to roll. I realized at the last second, and doesn't give us anything great. It gives us Aeon, but we don't need cheaper spells. We need the ball, which means we need Donkey. But I'm also now kind of off of it at this point. One, because we're level 5 with a level 6 unit. We can see that this Fates bought the Turkish Delight and we're still ahead of them on XP. But the other reason being that we just got that greedy. And this is something that I talked about in my patch notes review video for this current patch. I think the current way to play Dwarves, in a weird way, is going to most often come up when you get an early Lordy. Whether that be through Masquerade Ball, Polywoggle, or other means. I'm not super interested in Angry, but I am interested in Greedy when this happens, because Greedy is now going to be able to get us even more additional cash and is really going to give us an incentive. Like, we pick up Lordy, all Lordy's doing is pumping, or I'm sorry, we pick up Angry, all Angry's doing is pumping up Lordy. We pick up Greedy, that's giving us the cash to purchase additional dwarves and take this game even further. And I'm about to realize in a second, I believe, that we actually have a Haunted Helm as well, and that is going to be even better for the Greedy. So the Greedy's only going to get +4/+4 from the Lordy, but in 822, compared to all of my opponent's biggest units in 8-8, I mean, they've got the 814 Nutcracker, but in 822 is pretty good, and that's the reason that I think Dwarves is now the comp that you pivot into, and at this point it's probably going to be better than HatBall because we have all the XP and we don't have the ball. So that choice is kind of made for us in a way too. Now, I do think that it will be strong now to pick up some more dwarves here. We can grab a Tweedledee and a Lucky, and basically any dwarf that we purchase is going to give Greedy +2/+2. Also, Falling Stars with Forking Rod is pretty good with Greedy. It is kind of not making use of Hat for this turn, but it's still pretty strong. I'll pick up Lucky just to get as much stats on Greedy as possible. Basically gonna pick up whatever dwarves we run into here. Nutcracker ain't bad though either, because Nutcracker would get 2 Falling Stars on it. I'm a little bit surprised I didn't go for that, but it makes sense when you realize that we could still roll into more Greedies and Angries on this turn, and so that is now going to be the goal. And we even find a Tweedledee, another Tweedledee, so we're really making use of all of this gold that we got from Greedy. And that's like an important thing to realize here, is all of the gold. We purchased 4 dwarves this turn and spent 18 gold on just dwarves. Now, part of that was selling some other units that we were playing, but still, that is a really, really clean pivot, and it really just comes from that early Lordy plus Greedy combination that I think is going to be the most common way that you see me play dwarves. And there even is another video pretty similar to this already out on my channel, but I figured it doesn't hurt to have another data point. And honestly, these dwarves games are kind of fun because they're not just steamrolling the entire lobby, the entire game. It's a comp that you kind of gotta find your way into because it is otherwise pretty weak on level 4. However, you find that Lordy on level 4, things start looking a whole lot better. So we're going to walk away from this one with a ton of extra gold. Again, 9 extra gold. Definitely worth picking up Echo Wood, and the plan here is just to try to steamroll this lobby as much as possible. Picking up a Lordy and an Angry rather and an Echo Wood, we still have 10 gold to make use of for the turn, so pretty incredible. Speaking of steamroll, I think that spinning gold, grabbing an extra 6 gold seems pretty good to me. And then I think I want to pick up Golden Chicken because Golden Chicken is still always good on Wonder Waddle, and I'm going to wind up selling off my Wizard's Familiar to do so. Probably could have sold the Prized Pig, but not a huge deal. We're basically out of mages at this point, and by that I mean out of playing mages. We're not lacking mages, though we are lacking mages now that we sold the Wonder Waddle. I guess it's got a little bit of a double meaning there. Could go for the Hercules, but I'm not going to bother. And then I do wind up picking up this Trojan Donkey, and it's a little bit silly because we find the Crystal Ball. So now we've got HatBallFork. Small note, should have held onto the ball so that I still made use of Haunted Helm for this turn. It felt too bad to just completely not play the Crystal Ball and pick up HatBallFork. But honestly, we can't really make it work here. Maybe we'll be able to use some spells next turn and filter through some stuff, but yeah, I mean, I think our spell casting days, unfortunately, are just over, and we're going to have to look for a different avenue to victory, and I think I'm going to choose Dwarves, and that's kind of the point of this video. Now, obviously, picking up a crystal ball when you're already level 6 and have a full board of Dwarves and have sold all of your mages is going to be much different than some alternative ways that you can come into this comp. But I still think it's interesting that we had HatBallFork and are now going to choose to play Dwarves instead. Should have cast the Sugar and Spice on the Donkey, just missed it. I'm not really thinking about the HatBallFork side of things here, though. Stone Skin getting a little bit extra stats, not too shabby. And yeah, we'll go for it. I think that there's some kind of interesting decisions to be made too in terms of just how we play the spells, but I'm going to try to play as many spells as we can before we pick up the Tweedle, because level 5 treasures are really good on Dwarves, and this is where we have to make the heartbreaking decision to give up on the dwarf, or give up on the HatBallFork plan. And then I'll cast a Forked Masquerade Ball, not really finding anything too good, and then I'm going to skip out on this Wonder Waddle treasure, just picking up the chickens for the econ. Could grab this It Was All a Dream. The question, is it worth locking? With 4 gold left, I don't think it is, so I think so we are going to keep on rolling. But wouldn't mind dreaming at some point, especially a doubled dream where we could like take knighthood and then take something else for the second half of the dream. But I am going to lock onto this knighthood here because we are all out of gold for the turn, and casting knighthood on Echowood can still be pretty strong for us. So we're still looking pretty good at this point in the game, just in terms of the strength that our opponents are bringing to the board and the strength that we are bringing. Now we've got the Ambrosia on the Lordy, so we're looking pretty strong. And again, we're going to be walking away from this one with so much extra gold because of the Greedy doing its thing in the front line, assuming it can get attacked into 1 or 2 more times here. There we go. There's some nice little Greedy cash for us at the end of the fight. And let's see. So not quite a kill on Krampus, but how much gold do we walk away with? 4 extra gold. That's not bad. That's going to let us knighthood this Echowood and then still roll a little bit for the turn, especially with this golden chicken. Still not going to be picking up the Hercules. Do slightly consider the Blind Mice here, but there's really not anything that we would want. We already have the Forking Rod, and there is not a Dwarven Forge anymore, so 3 Blind Mice, you can get out of here. I do definitely consider picking up a Tweedle, but this Greedy has been so much fun, so I don't want to give up on the Greedy just yet. Could still purchase it here. It's not the craziest idea. Sell the Donkey and the chicken just to pick up the Tweedle, but I still want to play this Greedy, so I'm still going to. Could also lock the Masquerade Ball. It's not the craziest thing either. Would let us only see 2 additional tier 6 units. I mean, it'd be free to do it, but it's just the opportunity cost of using that as my spell for the turn and also locking the shop at this point. So going to decide not to lock, and I still think that we are quite strong just with these Tweedles and Echowoods and all of this other stuff. My opponent is going to have a Slay comp, but they haven't found the Jorm yet. And again, just a great reminder how much ahead of the rest of this lobby we truly are. Fortunately, we're not going to get any Greedy gold out of this turn, but hopefully we don't get anything too huge stolen by the Siren. Okay, they get a pretty reasonable unit, though our Echowood is insane. It's up in the 600s. So that should be enough to lock it down here, and it is going to be able to do so while we take out this Celestial Tiger. And important to note, we have not lost health since we picked up the Lordy. Pretty fantastic stuff. I'll take an Echowood, and then we do see a Falling Stars in the shop. Could use the Falling Stars even just with the Greedy. Even if we decide to not play the Greedy, we could just use it with the Angry, I mean. But who am I kidding? I'm going to be playing this Angry. That's too sweet to pass up. Doubled Falling Stars, so much extra gold and stats, and I think it's going to be useful. And now that we have This board, like, I mean, we could combine the Angries and then we're looking for another unit, but we have this doubly. I just don't think that we really need this Tweedledee. I think I want to roll, try to find more Lordies, potentially find a third Angry as well. That could be good. So let's give this one a roll, and then I don't believe I'm going to find anything. Nope. So let's jump ahead into this combat up against Miri. And let's see how we are doing. We were 100% to win our last combat. Sorry, stumbling over my words. And now we've added an additional Echo Wood to the board. So feel like we are pretty good here. They're not even able to take out our Angries through all of this. Our Greedy is going to get a little bit more cash even so. And then Tweedle's going to come back, pump up these Echo Woods even more. My opponent does have a Court Wizard, but it's only hitting for 16s. So that is not going to be enough, and we are going to be able to take this Miri out of the game right here, hitting them for exactly 13 and getting a kill. So now we are in the finals against Fates, and that's the end of the game. Okay, I didn't quite remember that part, but that's the end of it, and I think that despite this being kind of a weird one, it's always funny when I try to do like informative or say like, oh, this is how you should do this, but also the entire game revolved around a Pollywoggle sleigh. Maybe that is a little bit harder to emulate, but I think this is a good showcase for, okay, you have a plan and then some new information presents itself and you can still pivot into that direction. And Dwarves and trees right now are definitely options where if you get the key pieces early on, you can definitely build around said key pieces. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.